It's been an hour since I started heating the oven, so I'm putting in the roasting lid so that it can be ready when I pop the first loaf of bread in. So we've decided to put the white loaf in first. I'm going to use rice flour again for dusting flour, although it's really not really necessary on the bottom. I do this just to make sure that there's no sticky spots. I also dust my peel a little. You don't want your dough sticking to your peel. You really don't. Now you can see that the rice flour is not making much of a design on the loaf, and it will be easy to brush it off and see the crust. It is a sticky loaf, sticky dough, so it is spreading somewhat, and I'm glad that I decided to do it first because it needs to go into the oven now. I'm going to do a real simple slash, just one quick slash across the top. That's all we're going to do for that loaf. The oven's been preheated at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for over an hour, and the roasting lid was put in just a little while ago, maybe 10-15 minutes ago. The baking stone has been in from the beginning because that's what I'm heating for the hour. As soon as I put this loaf in, I will turn it down to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I want you to see that the loaf is really flat. I'm not sure you can see it if I'm holding it correctly in front of the camera. It's pretty flat, but it's a wet dough and it's spread. We'll take the roasting lid out to slide our dough in. Give it a spray. Not everybody's stone can take spraying. Some of them crack with spraying, so be careful with that. And then put the lid back on. I'm going to turn the oven down to 450 degrees and I'll put the timer on for 15 minutes. Then we'll come back and take the lid off. The first 15 minutes is up, so we'll take off the lid, see how our bread's doing. Well, that's a pretty beautiful loaf. Now my oven heats more towards the back, so I'll turn it around. And I have the timer on for 15 more minutes. The second 15 minutes is up. There's our loaf of bread. I think it came out really nice. There's our first loaf of bread. It seems just a little bit flattish to me, but it's pretty nice. It's a really nice loaf. I think if the starter was given a few more days of feeding, it would be even stronger and give you a little bit more lift. But it's really a beautiful loaf. So now, what we're going to do is put the lid back in to preheat it for the next loaf. And I will put it on for, maybe 10 minutes and let it preheat for that long. And we'll get the next loaf in. Now that I put the roasting lid back in, I'm going to turn the oven back up to 500 degrees while it's preheating for the next loaf. We are ready for our second loaf. And I wanted to tell you about proofing when your dough is proofing and you go to test it with the finger poke test. And you push it in and it stays in and fills out slowly and you think it's done. Well, just the filling out slowly or filling out quickly, it isn't all that you do when you're doing the finger poke test. Another thing that you're doing is when you push in, you feel the resistance of the loaf. And when I decided not to put this one in first, it was because when I pushed in, I felt a resistance, like it needed a little more time. So this is our loaf made with the whole wheat starter. It's sitting up a little higher. It is a little bit stiffer because the whole wheat in the dough absorbs more moisture. So it's not spread out as much as the white loaf. I'm going to, when I slash this time, I'm going to put more of an angle at it to see if we can get a bit of an ear on the loaf. Okay, we'll do more of an angle on this one. So now our whole wheat loaf, it's actually not whole wheat, but it was made with the whole wheat starter. This was made with the 100% whole wheat starter, but it is not a whole wheat loaf. We will put this in the oven now. I noticed on this other loaf that there's a bit of you can just see the rice flour. I think the crust would have looked nicer if I would have wet it first or gotten more of the flour off. So I'm going to do that to this loaf. Another thing you don't want to do is get any water on your peel. The loaf will stick. That's why you don't usually spray it on the peel. But I'm going to slash it using the angle again. And I'm going to carefully see if I can wet this loaf. I think the crust might come out nicer if I wet. And I'm going to spray it as well when I put it in the oven. I just want to get more of the rice flour off so it doesn't leave the dusty looking appearance on the outside. Okay, here's our 3 loaves. And I do know the reason why this one is darker, because I put the water on it. I brushed off a bunch of the dusty stuff. You see how this one has this dusty look to it? That was the rice flour that I wasn't able to get off just by spraying.